Welcome to Case Closed, the Contingency Fee Podcast. On the show, our team of industry experts interviews contingency fee attorneys. You will discover everything from how they got started to the secrets of their success and what's working in today's marketplace. And now, here's the Case Closed Podcast.
Well, we have another session of Case Closed Podcast. We have Lem Garcia, who is out in California, who does PI work. Lem.
Hi, Max. Thanks for having me.
You are quite welcome. So I want you to share for the audience the heartstring story that you got on your website. Go.
All right. Well, it's been a minute since I read the website, but from what I remember, 2014 was a trying year. I had a kid on the way, and newly married, and I didn't have a job, so I had a lot of stuff going on at once. And I said, you know what, I better get myself in gear. And in 2014, June or July, actually June, the office opened up. That's when I, rented out maybe 500 square feet, opened the office. And, I didn't have much money at the time. I was actually on unemployment. And that's the only check that I had coming in. I was, I had, large student debt. And then 2015, things started picking up pretty well. And since then, it's just kind of been on the upward trend.
Well, for a 9-year attorney to have three cases, 1,000,000, 500,000, and 250,000 is pretty darn impressive. So tell me what those three cases are about.
Well, there's actually, I guess I need to update the website. There's been several $1 million cases. There was one 1.75, and then there was another one. The largest case was 8 million.
Wow.
So, yeah, I need to update the website about that. But
so you've been an attorney, what, 12 years?
I passed the bar 2015. Oh, no, sorry, 2012. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, 11 years.
11 years.
Yeah.
Well, an $8 million case for 11-year attorneys, folks, is extremely impressive. So what's the best advice you've ever been given, and who gave it to you?
Okay, so I think whenever someone asks me that question, there's two answers that I have. So one is from my dad. His advice since I was young was always, the higher you go, the lower you bow, which essentially is just no matter where you are, just always make sure that you stay humble and you have humility in whatever it is that you're doing. And as the office has grown, he always tells me that. I think he wants me just to, kind of keep my ego in check and make sure that I stay the same person that I've always been, and not let things, change where, maybe I'm a boss at work, but I'm not that in like family life and with my brothers or my family members, or, just kind of friends and family, or even at work, just kind of stay level-headed with staff, with co-work, with clients, and just always just be, a nice person to everybody. So that's one piece of advice that I was given from my dad. And then the second piece of advice is from another attorney back when I was a legal assistant, and I was talking to him about my career, what I wanted to do. And I was like, I was a legal assistant, and then at part-time I was a photographer for the Clippers. And I was telling him, I don't know what I want to do with my life. And then he said, the only thing that doesn't get boring is spending money.
Interesting.
Because I was always telling him I wanted to find a job that was exciting, interesting, and that was his advice to me. And that's a heart, and I wanted to find something that always kept me, something that was exciting to me, but then also keep in mind that in the end it's also important that you have money to provide for your family and for yourself.
Good. Tell me how you get most of your clients.
Most of our clients are from referrals from previous clients. At the start, it wasn't like that, but now that we've helped hundreds, maybe not a couple thousand of people, most of our clients come from referrals from previous clients. We do a lot of work to make sure that our previous clients, we keep in touch with them, to send out emails, and just remind them that we're here in case something ever happens to them or their friends or family.
What is the most famous case you've had?
The most famous case, you know, most of them have a confidentiality clause on.
Well, I'm not asking for names. I
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. I mean, the biggest case that we've had is, you know, there was a lady that was rear-ended by a commercial truck. And, you know, thankfully she survived, but she did suffer, you know, a head injury. You know, she's doing relatively okay. Talking to her, I don't think you would suspect that you know, that she suffered a head injury, but she is battling, or she was battling one. And that's the case that, you know, resolved for $8 million.
Well, let me ask it this way. Do you give the same advice to your associates that you received from both your father and the attorney for whom you clerked?
Whenever someone comes to me for advice and those issues become relevant, I'm very happy to share that advice with them. I keep those things to heart all the time, just on a daily basis. Just, you know, if I feel like, you know, I'm straying away from that, I try to remind myself of my dad's advice to you know, just to be modest, no matter how good things get. And then as far as career advice, I think we live in a society where people are told to, you know, strictly just follow their passions and everything will pan out. I like it. Following your passion is important, but in the end, you know, how much money you have at the end of the day is really important on your quality of life.
So what percentage of the cases do you try versus settle?
Oh, let's see, all of our cases at some point have settled before trial. Yeah.
All right. In California, you don't get to try many cases. Is it that fair?
Right. They all have settled before trial. Yeah. I've never had to try a case.
Oh,
I'm not going to sit here in front of you and say that I'm, you know, I'm a trial lawyer and I've had, you know, a bunch of battles with carriers or defense attorneys. No, I mean, the cases they've all settled before trial. I mean, I've seen several, but I've never had that opportunity to go try one myself.
oh yeah. I've tried a whole bunch in my career of all types. Trials are fun. Do you do any mass tort work?
We do not do any mass tort work. Our 90% of our cases are car accident cases. There's other kinds of, you know, slip and fall, dog bites, but no mass tort. I don't even I've received a call for a mass tort.
Interesting. How many cases do one of your attorneys handle? What's their caseload?
Yeah, I would say about 150.
And how many attorneys work in your firm today?
So my wife, myself, and then 2 attorneys. So there's 4 total.
Wow. So you have 600 files and you settle about a third?
Well, no, my wife doesn't handle cases. I handle a handful. Yeah.
So you settle about a third of your cases every year?
No, more than that, I would say. Maybe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What do you think you settle a year?
Well, actually, I don't know. I haven't done the numbers. I don't know how many settle per year. I probably should have those hard numbers. I don't know how many cases settle per year.
Yeah, you'll want to do that.
How many we sign on, I don't know, but you know, we move them pretty quickly when we can, and if they need to, you know, if we need to have them longer, then we have them longer. But yeah, I don't know those figures. I should.
Well, that's the benefit of being an old guy like me. What do you want to tell the people who are going to listen to this podcast why they should hire you?
The people listening to the podcast should want to hire us because we always do what's right for the client. We have the experience to make sure that they get the results that they should. And then there's situations where, you know, things don't pan out on a case. And if that's like where no one can make it pan out, like there's no insurance, there's minimal insurance in a lot of those situations where the client's not, like if they're seriously hurt and there just isn't enough money to make them whole. There's many situations where we've just waived our attorney's fees for them.
Wow.
And we don't need to do that. You know, it's not what's in writing. But, you know, we feel like it's the right thing to do. Someone's seriously hurt and it's a minimum policy. You know, a lot of times that those situations like, yeah, the money is better with the client. And, you know, we don't have to do that, but, you know, we're happy to do that to help out.
Well, that's fantastic. Folks, if you're in California and you need an attorney, you need to call Lem because someone who waives fees is rarely a plaintiff's attorney. That's coming from a defense. Thank you for being on this Case Closed podcast.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Case Closed, the Contingency Fee Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening to this week's guests and their insight. If you liked what you heard, please consider subscribing wherever you listen to podcasts. Case Closed, the Contingency Fee Podcast, is led by industry experts who unlock insights from the nation's top contingency fee attorneys. Each week on the show, the guests share how they got started, secrets of their success, and what's working in today's marketplace. Guests on the Case Closed podcast include successful contingency fee attorneys that will share their secrets so you can close more cases. Tune in each week for a dynamic conversation about winning legal strategies that will grow your business.